Welcome back for all of our people that have been tuning in. For those that are new, this is Good Earners reviewing The Sopranos, where we talk about family, finessing, finances, and feelings in the world of Tony Soprano, bringing a new perspective, a fly perspective, and how could we forget a black perspective? Spike, what up with you, bro?
What's going on, Mo? Good Earners back in the building.
Yes, sir. We are here, and we are at a pivotal episode. Boy, I
Well,
can't
if you ever
wait.
needed a black perspective on The Sopranos, this is the episode, my nigga.
Boy, I
Yes,
couldn't wait.
sir.
Yes. Spike, you want to give us the synopsis of this episode?
Absolutely. In this episode 9, I believe, a hit is a hit is a hit. I added the extra hit, but we do learn
10. I think it's 10.
Episode 10, excuse me. We do learn what a hit is. We see the guys go and pull off a normal hit in this world in the very beginning. We also see Tony struggle to fit in with some of his vanilla white friends. And we also see Christopher take a dive into the music business and try to support his girl. We see how that turns out. This is episode 10 of The Sopranos. A hit is a hit.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it, Spike.
Let's do it, man. First scene, as I mentioned, man, we had the guys, Pussy, Paulie, Christopher, they going in and they rob Raul or Juan or whatever the dude name is. And they pull a score.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's a lot larger than we thought it would be. Pause.
Yeah.
First scene was really in and out. Mo, what'd you think about the guys pulling a licking?
Pause on that one too, man. No, nah, seriously though. I'm kind of curious to how did they come up with this scam? It looks like it's a fake refrigerator situation. At least that's the disguise when they're getting into this hotel. But there was a few things that stood out to me. I think that this was the moment that I think they really wanted to establish Paulie's menacing part of his personality. I think a lot of times there's a thing, and I've been on YouTube. There's this thing about why Paulie could be the most dangerous one of the crew because they call him psychotic. And they go through like a list of things of why Paulie's psychotic. This moment right here was so crazy because the dude was like, okay, I'll stay out of Port Newark. He's like, okay, I'll send the message. That message was already sent. So he capped him saying like, nah, it already been sent. That's it. I thought that was so menacing, bro. I was just like, really? I didn't even remember Paulie being like this. Like, that's crazy. Straight to the head, bro.
It lines up for Paulie for me. I always look at Paulie because of his old school mentality. I'm not sure if I would have classified it as psychotic or menacing before, and not to say that it's wrong. It's probably just because I've watched it so many damn times, and you know, Paulie's on the other side of it. He's the lovable old Uncle Paulie. So I get what you're saying, and it's a great oxymoron as well. But no, I didn't take that as extra menacing. I just took this as something Tony had the ups on. He got the dude, and they did their job.
I guess because they're in a hotel, it just feels sloppy a little bit. Like almost like, I mean, I guess you got to get it off, but I guess it's like with I mean, I don't even know, cameras might not be the same.
The 90s, yeah.
You know, but it's
dress up. Nobody's seeing me. We're in the mob. Nobody's gonna say kind of
It's
just gonna ride.
Yeah, but I thought it was funny. Big P, he says crackheads and their small bills. I thought that was kind of a nod to like not just crackheads, but like black people, drug dealers, you know, low hanging people that sell kind of lower in their tiers versus them with getting the big bag right here. Is this a form of drug business that they got this? Because the guy, Paulie makes a joke about like Pablo Escobar or whatnot, but like I was picking up the scheme, but I kind of got lost for a second. Did they get this off of like a drug business? Because I try to figure out where did all this cash come from, because it's bills, and they don't seem like they normally get this type of finesse with like actual physical cash. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looked like they robbed the stash house on the right day. It feels like that Tony had some insight on Juan Valdez and, you know, what was going on. And it seems like to me that, you know, they just had the ups on them. That particular day, knew they sell drugs, may have been in their neighborhood or whatever, probably been watching them. It felt like a scheme that they had set up, thought it was going to be a little score, and it ended up being a rather large score. That's what I got from it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I feel like it was a come up.
All right.
Next, we got Tony and Dr. Dr. Cusamano. He gives him a box of Cuban cigars. Cusamano worries about the legality of that. Tony says, come on, man, they're cigars. Also gets the call from the guys during this time, letting them know that the Juan Valdez hit is done.
Yes.
Do you fuck with Dr. Cusamano?
Nah.
Was it this episode?
This episode, off the rip. I can't wait till we get to the blending of the Italians and the whites, because it's very enlightening. But Coos at this point, I did like him. Like, if we're just going in real time and first watch and all that, I was liking him. I'm like, man, this dude's cool. He kind of know what's going on. Like, he got an idea. Tony's been on the news, or he's seen some of these mob guys around the house or whatnot. He seems cool, but what I catch here is this immediate allure that he's catching. He likes this idea these are illegal, and Coos, he's like, I could live with this. Like, this is illegal, but they're cigars. I'm getting that secondhand mob that lifestyle touch that we talked about with Artie when he was in the restaurant. Like, I feel like right here, Coos is having a moment where he kind of like, okay, they are cigars. So what? Like, who's gonna lock me up for cigars? You know what I mean? So I think he wants a taste of it, but he don't want to be in it or of any sort. But what did you gather from this cigar exchange?
Yeah, Coos is looking for a thrill, as we saw throughout the rest of the episode. He's trying to be a moth, not fly too close to the flame, but close enough to maybe sure he still gets some of the light or the heat from the light. Yeah, I don't think that he wants or has any interest in Tony's lifestyle. But again, he's my neighbor. I get to look without touch. I feel like that we'll get to it later on. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there. But yeah, just look without touching, almost a zoo-like aspect or something like that. That's what I got from it.
Oh, dang, right here?
Yeah. Well, yeah, with how he looks at Tony. Like, they look at Tony like a spectacle.
Oh, okay.
And later on, I think later on, it was, I guess, great cinematography, or if this is what they were trying to relay. But when Dr. Melfi was having dinner, just to skip ahead a little bit there, and you had the growling, I felt like it was a zoo exhibit, like how people go to the zoo. Oh, there's his house. Wow. Oh, he's making noise. Oh my God. And she kind of hid behind, like, I felt like that's what they were setting up there, like making Tony like this exhibit.
Wow. So you feel this is a little different than how he's been looked at on the other side when Melfi is having the dinner with her family on a previous episode. I think Down Neck, where they're kind of looking at him, because I know we talk about, you say people, well, he's charming. People kind of like to be around him in some kind of form, gain whatever they can gain with not necessarily being interested. But right here, you think this whole episode is just a total different flip on it, like a spectacle. Like, we don't really respect it. We're just spectators. We like to look at it from the outside, basically. Like,
yeah, it's like a movie to them. Yeah, like I feel like it's a movie or a play or something that rich white people, we can look at it, we don't touch it, stuff like that. Because again, these aren't, as we learn later, they ain't like squeaky clean people. You know what I'm saying? They got their little white collar shit going on. They just don't fuck with what Tony does.
Okay, so they look at that like the lower drug dealer, like,
okay, like y'all learn. Yeah, exactly. Nickel and dime, whatever Pussy said.
Yeah,
about them. That's how they look at Tony.
And we get the invitation here of the golf game. So I thought that was interesting. Tony, he just does regular golfing with his boys on an open public court, which was weird to me, because they got money. You would think they would have some kind of membership or at least lean on somebody to get, but I guess they don't like it enough, I imagine.
No, ain't not the same class of people. Some courses or golf courses, like, you can have as much money as you want. You just can't get in. Like, they have memberships. So you can't play the course.
Though. How they go?
Exactly, which is why some of them may not want Tony in there. They were like, okay, everybody knows what he does. We don't want that stain on our club.
Okay.
Like, it's for doctors, it's for lawyers, it's for prestigious councilmen and people around the city. Tony Soprano is a member, and they like, it kind of brings the value of their club down.
And leaning on him, they'll probably start losing membership, and it wouldn't even be as valuable at that point to
Yeah,
Tony.
and who knows what kind of racket he gonna run once he get in there?
Okay.
Who knows what he gonna be exposed to?
Right.
But the guys celebrate the score, man, and they hang out with their gumas. Paulie gets a compliment on his horse dick.
Yo, I thought that was wild, dude.
That was nuts.
We could keep it zooming, but boy, that's crazy.
Moving on there. And Chris leaves. No guma for him. He's going to spend the night with his baby, Adriana, and they're going to celebrate together. Can you take anything from that?
Hey, man, Chris got him one. What are we talking about right now? Like she's arguably the finest chick on the whole show. Arguably. I mean, I don't know. We can get down to later on. Maybe AJ, his girlfriend, later down the road.
Yeah. But did you take anything from him just not hanging out with the fellows? Oh, actually, probably wanting to go hang out with Aid. Like, did that start the breadcrumbs throughout the episode for what he was trying to do for Adriana? To you? Like trying to make their relationship.
Yeah, I don't know if he. I think Chris is still trying to figure stuff out. You know what I mean? He was writing the script on the last episode, Legend of Tennessee Montesanti. I think he's really, trying to get something going here. He's trying to be a big dog in his own kind of way. I mean, he already got the score, so already impressed the guys. Now I got to impress my woman. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's kind of a part of it. What did you think about the statement that Tony made about this business play, what we should do with the money? Basically, like, invest in this into a business and then washing it. What did you think about that? I thought that was really very new school in comparison to maybe like how the old guys used to run it.
I think it was him being insecure about how Cusamano was treating him, as we saw throughout the rest of the episode. Yeah, I think that he felt like he knows that that's the thing that he has to do to get into that lifestyle. Like, you got money, but you ain't got that type of money, not clean money anyway. So I do think that that's like the turning of a leaf. New school, 100%, like you said. Also, it's I want to do something else, start legitimizing my money, maybe even play with the idea of hanging out with other people to be successful in that world as well.
Okay, that's a great pull. Paulie says this could be the end of the Rico as far as we know it. Like, so is the Rico case dropping here? Is that what we're to believe? It was like a not even a matter of fact, but a passing thought. Like, the Rico, is it getting dropped? Is it lowering right here when he said that? I was just trying to figure that.
I don't know.
Okay.
I missed that.
Okay, maybe we'll continue and see what.
Yeah, I missed that, definitely. All right, so from there, Chris and Aid had their night out, Broadway place, center seat. Chris spending big money.
Yeah.
And they go get a bite to eat. I guess this was in Brooklyn or some predominantly black place in Jersey.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're there. They're waiting on a burger. Chris yells out a couple of offensive things. People wonder why he has the audacity. Black cop comes and tells the rapper Massive Genius that we're introduced to that Chris is a part of the Soprano crew. And this leads Massive Genius to want to reach out to Chris to do some business.
Yeah.
What did you think about Chris in the black ambiance right here? His yelling stuff out, Abe being embarrassed. How did this scene play out for you?
It was so much here for me. First off, it's always interesting to me with Chris because he's even a newer generation than Tony. So I feel like he always could function if he had to collaborate with black people. We remember a scene earlier we had the black dude, Uncle Junior went and got the money from off his block with the black drug dealer that he ended up whooping when he had the cast on his neck. And then even seeing him operate here, and then we'll play out the rest of this episode with Massive Genius. But I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was funny. It's like, what welfare check do I got to cash to get a burger here? You know what I mean? Like, he was feeling himself crazy. And I thought it was interesting how they went to, I guess, this opera and they were going to go out to the Broadway play, but they're in the hood getting these burgers. I think that is so realistic about getting good food from these hole in the wall spots to be packed out from sun up to sundown. I did think though, when the police officer said he's with the Tony Soprano crew, he got a little pool or whatnot, that just felt like such a reach to me. I just felt like that line was such a reach. It didn't fit to me.
I think they needed a reason to show that why Chris was acting like that. But I will say that I agree with you. And my thought for it not landing is that we're not East Coast guys. Like, we don't really know how that interaction would go. Maybe that is the respect that they get on the East Coast when they mafia affiliated and shit like that. I don't think that I know it didn't trickle down to where I grew up at. If he were doing that in a spot full of black people in Nashville, he'd have got his ass whooped. It don't matter your affiliations or nothing like that. What about Indianapolis?
I mean, yeah,
it start walk in the hood spot.
It probably start escalating. They like, hey, bro, hey, bro.
I know, like, if there was like a little chicken wing spot in the hood, and he walk in there, who welfare check, brother, like, nobody finna play with you in here, bro.
That is wild.
We finna send you on about your day, buddy.
Everybody, yo,
dude and Tony Soprano, homie.
Yeah, right. Dude must be special or something.
But again, that's on the East Coast. They know how the mob works and shit like that, so it may be different.
Another thing, Adriana really dissing Carmela, so she has no interest in being a housewife here.
No, I'm new age.
Okay, I
get that. I get the new age, old age.
Okay, because I was like, I mean, isn't
and Chris says Carmela always had a brain, but what did she use it for?
Dang, that was a crazy line right there.
Yeah.
I still don't know if it even paid off. And I ain't spoiling nothing, but I still don't know. And then they was like, she has a brain and she just works out all day and with her stretch marks and stuff. I'm like, she ain't that much old. Like, yeah, I gotta relax.
Yeah, they was hating.
They was definitely hating.
You got into the hating territory.
Do you think Massive Genius was out of pocket though, talking about your girl, which is she embarrassed? Like,
no. I got money. I got my niggas with me. You like, nigga, better shut your little dusty ass up. You embarrassing your girl in here, nigga. Have some class. I like that. I like that a lot.
I did like it. I was just like, man, bro, who are you talking to, dog? Like, don't tell me about what
you nigga in here playing about my welfare check and all this shit, nigga. I'm gonna give my security to smack you up a couple times in front of your lady.
Right.
I think it was a good. Bokeem Woodbine did a good job.
My guy. Yes, he did. Underrated black actor, by the way. But what did he mean when he said the statement, bold men make bold statements, and then he said, you mean I'm here for a burger, not converted rice, or some line like that. I was like, what does that mean? Like, what is?
I think it was like a Muslim joke or something.
Oh, that's what it
yeah, I think that was like a Muslim joke. It had to be converted
okay,
rice. Yeah,
I can see that.
Like a Muslim joke or something. I missed it too because I was like converted rice, but it had to be a Muslim joke.
Okay, Chris is a wild.
Hope I'm not being racist by saying that. Yeah, Chris is definitely a wild boy, man. He ain't grounded enough to move up like he need to. He just caused too much trouble. We've seen it 2 episodes straight. Like, it almost seems like they are painting a picture for us to expect something to happen to Chris because of his temper or because of how he handles himself in situations. It's like he never really just like has any tact. It's like always just reckless.
Yeah.
So I don't know if we should expect something to happen to him, or maybe they were expecting something to happen to him before the season ended up and they were setting up for that. It kind of seems like that
in
this rewatch for me. Like they were setting up for us to be like, well, he always had a hot head, you know? So
yeah, man, boy, I'm glad they didn't.
Spoiler alert, Jesus, Maurice.
I mean, at this season.
Right. All right. Massive Genius invites them to a party, wants to do business, has something to discuss with Chris. Chris and A go to the party. They discuss business. Massive Genius tells him that Hesh stole some money from him. So he wants to go collect his royalties. Chris sets up the meeting. Anything jump out to you here?
I just remember when I first watched it. I think a part of this, I was thinking like, okay, maybe this is like an impression of like Dr. Dre. But I remember when I first watched this, I really thought genuinely he was trying to do business, but now I find out later it wasn't. It was about the business with Hesh that we'll get to, and that was all it was about. But I thought it was like a double play when I first watched it. Like, oh, maybe he is trying to scout talent type situation. I'm gonna get in your pockets. We're gonna collaborate on these musicians and do this. But I realized that wasn't the play at all.
Right. Okay. Spoiler alert. Just a little side note here. Is this the same character And what I can't even remember now. Is this the person who paid to get shot in the ass?
No, that's Trex.
Sure was. Okay, I couldn't. All black people. No, just
oh,
all you black people look alike.
We all look alike, though. We look. I know somebody loving that right there.
Yeah, somebody's hilarious. That was hilarious.
Fly House though. Fly House. I know we.
Yeah, Fly House, Fly Party. He carried himself well. I
love
love the oxymoron of not the over aggressive gangster rapper. I got a degree in social planning or whatever it may be that he said. I loved it. I like his whole persona on him.
Whole persona. I got a hot take later down the road, and I do like the like. I feel like people don't like this episode as much, but I ain't gonna say because it's a black guy, because there's black people, but there's this weird thing where people talk so badly about a hit as a hit, bro. Like I hear this all the time, like, oh, this is the worst episode. They put it like top 5 worst episodes.
I can see that though. I can see that because it's outside. It's way outside of it. Yeah, like it ain't a lot of good Tony stuff. Okay. It ain't a lot of good Doctor. Like they didn't play none of the hits in this. We didn't see Junior. We don't know what's going on with that. Olivia wasn't there. Like I could 100% hear someone say, "Man, you just wasted my time with this episode."
I almost feel like. Well, go ahead. My bad.
I don't really feel like it pushed a lot forward. It just gave us a little insight into something on the side.
Yep, so, I agree. I agree with that. But I think from a black standpoint, I just wait till I get to the hot take. I get to the hot take. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Chris and A, they leave the party. Chris is going on and on about he's the real OG. How is that dude the OG? And that's such a funny take to me. I feel like the people, not only white people either, like black people do this. Like they try to look for the tweaks in the armor of like famous gangster rappers or even supposed tough guys. He's not that tough, like blah, blah, blah. Like, I feel like that's what Chris was doing here.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And it's weird because it's this thing where Chris, he, like you said, he's calling himself gangster, but he wants to be called that. He wants to be acknowledged that way openly versus black people that will be gangster don't want to be so out loud with it. You want to quietly, like a Jay Prince, you want to kind of quietly know, yeah, I'm the boogeyman. It's this weird thing where Chris, he's flashy. He likes the attention, the reputation all in your face. Like that's just his thing. I feel like it's very reminiscent. I don't feel like they built his character reminiscent of John Gotti, but it's very reminiscent of John Gotti, where he's like, I want y'all to know, like, I'm making.
Chris is a new generation gangster. He was newer. Basically. He was the new generation like Gotti, and that's what they were calling Gotti. So that's a good pull. All right. So Tony comes home in the middle of the day. Carmen invites him to a barbecue. She knew the answer would be no, but she still asked. Tony's still in a good mood. He changed his mind, says he wants to go. They talk about what to do if something happens to Tony because Carmela's worried about, not worried, but concerned that they won't be taken care of. Did you get anything more from this? I'll tell you what I was impressed by and throw it to you of how she's always able to read Tony. Like even without knowing about the score of the lick or anything, she could just kind of tell by his mannerism, the little sly smiles. Like, did you hit a score? I think that was really interesting. And it goes again to what we've commented on about the connection that Tony and Carmela have. Yeah,
I agree with that. Yeah, she's great at that. I love the multiple choice line. It's a great line there.
That's funny. It was.
So this is good. I will say I like the hopefulness that Tony had. This is the stuff that us, for new fans, I imagine when you're watching it, you're cheering them on for a change later on. For us that already know how it goes, this was very early. I'm hoping, you like the black people that sell drugs or whatever, like you sell dope, get out the game. You know what I mean? This is where we're thinking like, okay, the play is being built. Obviously, we'll find out otherwise. But at this point, him saying, maybe we can do something different. So, interesting thing.
Interesting. I agree with that. All right. From there, Aid approaches Chris about funding a band with Richie Santini. Yeah, she screwed back in the day. What a way to minimize him,
bro.
She says, great line. This is perfect, Christopher. Christopher was great this episode.
Yeah, he was.
Regardless of being a top 5 episode, bottom 5, he was really good. But she does approach him about starting a band. Chris listens to the demo. He wants to support his girl. Let's be music managers. I'll let you take the lead on this. I get to dress you up because I like doing that. Were you or are you? You spoke about this earlier. What do you think about Adriana's career goals?
She's young. She's cute. She in her 20s. She's young. Her man got something going on. He's building towards something, trying to get made. He's doing something. She's a waitress, but she has aspirations. It all lines up and it makes sense. And women are tastemakers of music. So I can see that. But I think what's interesting when she brings up, the Richie guy or whatnot, the band, this is another slight moment to show us like the separation from like white and Italian. You know what I mean? Because he's not into that at all. But it's still like, okay, well, let's see about and I'll speak more to it later. But it's like this episode, I like it so much because it showed me. I'm like, oh, there is different white. I used to lump all white people into the like same category. You white, But this episode, I promise you, bro, it changed my whole like mentality on like, oh, it's not just white. You're Greek, or oh, you're. I'd never thought that way ever until I watched this episode. But I think it's just a great way to show like how he don't like the rock music. So it's really showing that I look white like the rest of the white people, but I'm Italian. I don't mess with this type of music. Another way to show these division lines on this episode.
Yes, and I do think that they do a good job of that. They did it in the Columbus episode of how Italians, quote, feel slighted. But I do like that he supported this girl. I like that he's wanted to have a dream. He's not standing in the way of that. He may be hesitant about it, may not wanted to do that, but he ain't like, okay, you can't do this. If you want to do it, I'm fucking with it. I like that part about it. From there, we see the sit down. Massive Genius gets to meet Hesh. They discuss royalties from an old record. It's owed to his grandma, somebody like that. And he asks Hesh for $400K. Hesh goes into this spiel about Jews being the white man's nigger before. Go ahead.
That was late. Wasn't that later? That was like, that was later when they was on the. Oh, that's all in this scene. You're right. It's all in this scene. I'm still at the ranch, but yeah, go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, but he tells him that Jews were the white man's nigger way before you had bones in your nose and paint on your faces and chasing zebras.
Oh man.
How'd you feel about Hesh after this?
Come on. Hesh ain't lying, but this is why I hate when I hear lines like this, because people love to do that thing where they be like, oh, with us, my people have suffered. You're absolutely right. Jewish people have suffered tremendously as well, if not more. However, how did y'all come out on the end? How do we come out on the end? That is my issue. Always. It's like, okay, all right, Hesh, we get it. You're right. But how do y'all come out on the end, and how do we come out? That's where nobody ever talks about that part. So when you got there, I was just like, I definitely rolled my eyes like, here we go with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But man, I love his goons though. Like I love his
Massive Genius.
His Massive Genius. Okay. Yeah. Like I love. Hot take. I'll throw it here. I think he could have legit went to war if he had to. He would have lost because of how deep Massive Genius. Oh. Like he would have lost overall because Jersey's connected to New York. Like he no way near having enough men. But I think from like up in here, we having this Jersey battle, kind of like Raising Kanan type of deal. I think he had the ammunition and the people. I think he really could have if he wasn't, obviously focused on his corporate business of running a label and his, his movies and stuff like that. I genuinely think that. No, you don't think so?
No, not at all. I don't think that he's a gangster. I think that they did a good job of showing that he was somebody who benefited off the gangster lifestyle. I don't think that he even knows that life, which is why Tony and those guys were so confused later on when he was talking about suing, going to court. I think they thought because he was black, because he had this image that was the way or the angle that he was wanting to go with it when they met him. But I don't even think that crossed his mind, nor do I. I don't think that he has the network set up for that. Like Tony and them are real gangsters. Like they gotta the difference with Raising Kanan, like she was in a drug gang. You know what I'm saying? So she had connections. She was a real gangster too when they crews went to battling. I didn't look at him as a real gangster, the Massive Genius dude. I didn't look at his crew as real gangsters, not meaning that they weren't tough. Like if they had to kick Tony and them ass right then, they could have did that. Like they weren't intimidated by Tony and them, but I felt as if that they were professionals. Like we really are professionals. And it's good, and it's a interesting position, viewpoint, whatever it may be, to put the situation or scenario in, because you usually have that thought process with white people. But here you're looking at Tony and them like the goon, thug, ignorant people who trying to fight and, you know, bring violence. And I never in my mind, it's why it's interesting, and I let you finish that you say that, because that never really crossed my mind that they would even go to. I never took, and that's why I think Bokeem Woodbine did such a good job. He always came up to me as, and it sounds like a diss in our world that we come from, but in this scenario, it's not. I'm using it as praise. He was a studio gangster.
Okay.
In the sense of like, bro, I'm not, are you serious? I know who y'all are. I'm not trying to do any of that with you. I'm going to get my lawyers. I'm going to keep making all of my money and we'll figure this out that way. So if they had to go to war, yes, Tony and them would have watched him, I think.
Okay. But do you think he's riding the wave? Because he did reveal later that he killed a man. I mean, he was underage, but he did kill a man.
Yeah, I feel like that's probably how he got famous in rap. That story. I killed a man. And it was on some accident shit. Nigga was probably trying to rob him.
He was putting his hands on my mama, so I shot him. Type deal.
Crazy. Yeah, something like that. Just like Lil Wayne shot. I shot
myself,
nigga.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so some shit like that. That's what I got from him though. But again,
you killing my whole theory.
Usually when we having this conversation, it's a diss though.
Yeah.
However, I think the great job that they did with those guys in this episode is, I'm saying this as praise, like, because you very rarely see the black people in that position.
Yeah.
I'm saying this is no, they ain't the thugs here. Those unruly thug motherfuckers is the ones just trying to go to war and do all of this shit, which was, you know, I enjoyed that.
That's you killed that, because now you're saying that it does make sense. That's why you get the later panning, how they pan out for his mansion, and kind of like, you're right. You're absolutely right. They're showing, now that you're putting it in focus, they're showing that the Soprano crew, they're the thugs in the episode. You're dealing with black people that are normally looked at as thugs. They're not the thugs here. They're corporate. This is his entourage.
Real legitimate business.
You know, then we get Tony with the Fortune 500 guys over here. So Tony and them were really that's crazy.
Yes, that's what added to it too. Yeah,
you killed that, bro.
You even had the other side of it, the straight corporate white dudes, and they were so fascinated by it. But yes, absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely.
Wow, that was a good point.
All right, so there we go to dinner with the Cusamanos, man. And Dr. Melfi never really seemed. This was interesting to me from the sense of Dr. Melfi is never really comfortable in these settings.
Yeah.
And maybe it's because they're trying to paint her as a more forward thinker than you would usually have in these more liberal circles. But usually when she's having dinner, whether it was here, whether it was the other scenarios with her family and ex, it come off real get outish. Oh, you know, I voted for Barack 2 times. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Facts.
And she's the only one actually like seeing how it's coming off, sort of how Daniel Akua, or whatever his name was, wasn't get out. Like, oh, y'all hearing this shit?
Yeah.
So I always find it interesting. I'm wondering, and what it left me wondering is, where is Dr. Melfi's place? Because it's not with those people. It's not with Tony and the people that he is. It definitely left me wondering and going to pay attention now throughout the series is if we ever see Dr. Melfi's tribe.
Dang, did we ever see her tribe? Go ahead.
I know we haven't yet.
Yeah.
So I don't think you have to give it too much thought, but just as you look, I want to pay attention to, like, does she ever really, where does she let her hair down at? Where's her tribe at?
I think, honestly, I think her and Carmela, and I'm not gonna reveal nothing, but I think her and Carmela could get along in a different space. Because I I think Melfi has, like you said, that forward thinking aspect. She's ready for forward thinking. Like she's like, I can cure you, I can help you, I can help you turn that corner. Like I believe in the science, I believe in the psychology, I believe in the work that we're doing. So and there's a scene later on where she talks about I used the clip this week, but like homosexuality and even her forward thinking in that with some of the mob guys going to prison and speaking to that. So yes, I think she does have a forward thinkingness. I do think in a different life, I think her and Carmela could get along because Carmela, she's in the lifestyle. I'm not gonna necessarily say forward thinking, but she's in the lifestyle. So I think that she would be able, them two would be able to have conversations in real time. I think in a different world. But yeah, just a lot of douchebag syndrome right here. I straight hear Kanye. Let's have a toast for the douchebags. Bro, I just immediately.
Yeah, that was definitely what they were trying to relay. I get that 100%.
They call him neighbor with no neck.
I wonder what that means.
I don't know, muscle head or something, I guess. And that's what I was thinking.
That's funny. All right, so from there, Chris and A get to go see whatever the fuck dude name was, the terrible band name. But they get to go see him live, and Massive is there as well. When did you start picking up on the I'm trying to smash your chick vibes from Massive going towards A? Because Chris definitely wasn't picking it up by now.
I definitely didn't. I still didn't pick it up here. If
Really?
I started picking up like, I want to do business, but your girl look good. Like she's fine. Like I see her and I'm looking, but I'm not so much buying into like trying to get her yet. But it's so now I watch it. It's all there. It was there in the burger joint.
That's what I was about to say. Back in the burger joint, he shooting this shot there.
Man,
like he just throwing
dirty
the cast in the water. Yeah, definitely dirty. Like I can take his. He was looking at her like I can take
like a rapper.
Yeah, I can definitely take his bitches. That's his thing.
Yes.
He went into it, and it's so funny that Chris missed it too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any thoughts on the band?
Visiting Day. I think that's their name. Visiting Day.
Such a terrible name.
You don't like the other one? I forgot what the other name was.
I hated all of this. There was one part of this that I hated. I hated all of this. I mean, there was one part of this that I really liked, but the rest of all of the band situation I hate.
I can see that. I wasn't mad at it, but I did think. I really didn't think they were that bad, to be honest. It sounds like
the Meow song.
No, not that whole. No. That was like, to me, that didn't.
They was performing right there on stage.
On the stage, I was like, "Yo, this is straight." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, Linkin Park or
indie rock.
Yeah, I don't know,
indie rock shit.
Yeah, I was like, bro,
I was strictly basing it off the Meow song.
Oh, the Meow was horrible. We'll get there, but God, that was horrible.
All right. Back to the Cusamano's house, the scene that I was talking about. Melfi sneaks away, goes to the bathroom, looks through the mirror, hears the grunting, this animal in the wild in his own habitat. She gets to see Tony Soprano at his house. What'd you think about this scene? Does it do anything for you?
It don't do a whole lot for me. It is like that, like you said, kind of weird, but she's even looking out there like all weird. Like I don't even know what to make of her face. It's like she kind of looking like sensual, but like curious. Like I don't know. It may be an acting direction at that moment, but it's like she just had a weird look on her face. But I thought it was interesting that the Cusamanos had a bidet. I was like, oh, all right. I just thought that was like a small little detail that she stepped on. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But yeah, nothing really.
Days, yeah.
I don't think. Hold on. How would she have heard him from the basement?
Maybe the window was up.
Windows up. Okay. All right.
Yeah, because remember they went in that window later on. I think.
And they know he can leave that open. Everybody know. Like he said, the safest. You kidding me? This is the safest
neighborhood in the block.
Boy, right. That's a good way to look at it. Sometimes
it is facts. All right. From there, Chris and A, they talk about Richie. She says she believes in Richie, so Chris believes in her.
Yeah.
Again, we don't got to stay here too long, but I do like how Chris was fucking with her this episode.
Yeah.
He was supporting her dreams, like kind of until he couldn't. But yeah, I think that he did a good job in trying to help set her up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it ties back to the last episode, Legend of Tennessee Montesanti, how she supported him with his 2 lines. You know what I'm saying? So he trying to do the same in return here. But I think we're getting early signs here that they're not good. We got that club reaction. And then it says that the leader, he lived with his mom and he's over 30 years old. So
he got a disability, Maurice, man.
I didn't know he had a disability. Okay, that recontextualizes everything. I didn't catch that.
Some kind of disability. It was bullshit disability, but it was some kind of disability.
I can't wait till we get to the studio. But yeah,
that's easily one of my favorite scenes.
Oh man, I can't wait.
All right, so we finally get a Tony and Dr. Melfi session. Tony and Dr. Melfi talk about the average white man. This was a good conversation.
Yes, it was.
Tony was talking about just the average Caucasian, how he felt different, not skin tone, but more so just feel. This was good to me because as Black men, we deal with this shit all the time, everywhere.
Yeah.
Which is why I could see why you say bottom 5 episodes by the public. Sopranos is not a black show. So not a lot of black men, I would say, are commenting on those polls. You poll black men about this episode, they will 100% feel where Tony is coming from.
Oh, yeah.
And being in those spaces, having those interactions from the golf course to the barbecue, even here having the conversation with Dr. Melfi.
Right.
Yeah, I'm like them, but I ain't shit like them.
Yeah.
To sum it all up.
You know what? You know what I think is almost maybe a equivalent to it? I think some of our brothers that are like, you know, from Africa or Nigeria, like where they came over here at a certain point, even still accent still pretty thick, but good English, you know, they've been over here, but we don't look at each other the same. Like they look at us as lazy. They look at us like, oh, you privileged. I had to work every day of my life, and they act like we're like the worst people almost in certain facets because of their struggle versus ours. But we look at them differently. Like, y'all just came over here. Y'all get to ride the wave of our culture we established this through slavery, built this country. And y'all come over here and look at us funny. So I think it's not the same thing. It's the Italian versus the Caucasian, as he puts it. But I think that's a similar thing, I believe, that happens. So yeah, this was great commentary. My goodness.
It was. And even going on to another thing that we would deal with is the friend group thing. Like trying to, have you ever been in this situation, trying to expand your friend group?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like trying to just meet, especially at this age in life, for us as men, it's really hard.
Yeah, it is.
You don't know how you really, people irritate you, you know, like
your tolerance is a little bit.
It's just a lot, dude. Like, so meeting new friends, it was good seeing Tony going through this as a middle-aged man as well, because I have some of the same views. 100%.
Okay.
So yeah, that was good.
I did like she spoke about Cusamano, and he says he's Sunday gravy out of a jar.
Out of a jar.
Which is he's inauthentic. Like he's Italian, but he's an inauthentic Italian to him. Pasta, that's pasta sauce out of a jar. I know that some Italians they call it gravy. And I've even seen that on Instagram where they be like, man, they be like, so I took the pasta sauce, and they're like, get the fuck out of here. Like, I don't make it from scratch, from, you know what I mean? So he looks at Cusamano that way, which is funny because I know we definitely do that in our community.
Facts. And Tony is proud that Dr. Melfi saw his house. You know,
yeah. What was that?
Proud. He wanted to know, bitch, I'm balling. You know what I do. You know what I do, and I'm right here with Cusamano and all these other people. I got the big boy house too now.
I'm their neighbors.
Yeah, he was proud of that.
Wow, that was tight.
Thanks. And from there we go to Tony at the barbecue, having the average white man conversation with average white men, and he sees he doesn't fit in. And there are a couple of things at play here. Tony is wanting into their lifestyle to see how it can benefit him.
Yeah.
They're wanting Tony into their circle to see what they can benefit from him. And not even just benefit from him, but we want to tell people that we know you. It makes us seem tougher, adds to our profile. Tony doesn't really get anything from this because they don't want to let him into the financial stuff, as we saw with the stocks and things of that nature. So he's kind of like an outsider. And this is where they really start to nail home, in my opinion, the zoo. The zoo thing that I said. Like they really look at it like an animal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Yeah, I've been that person before too. So it's like that feeling like, well, he'll tell a story later on about this guy that they had in their group that was kind of fitting that zoo concept. Like you're the tonight's entertainment. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, man, this was rough. It's just seeing Tony like that, which is great because they pull at our heartstrings and like we really see him like, dang, they doing our man's any kind of way. Like over here, he's the top dog. You put him over here, he's like the
butt of the jokes.
The butt of the joke. And it's crazy to see our man's like that for real. But they were really trying, like, bro, they was trying to like really, man. Yeah, this is I can't even because this is not that type of podcast. I can't even go in for real.
I'm gonna have to say that for a Tuesday joint or something. But yeah, that was because I definitely want to ask you about that scenario that you in. But yeah, we doing Sopranos now, so we'll save it for another week of the books.
All right.
From there, Hesh is listening to the music.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to save a fucking dime. I didn't realize what was going on right here until later, but he was just listening back, going through old catalog, trying to figure out if he was going to pay that $400,000 tab.
Yeah.
Anything? This wasn't really much.
Yeah, well, the scene before I forgot, but how Carmela just immediately was eating that whole stock market thing up. Eating that whole thing up, like with no research for real. Like, I was like, I feel like Carmela could fit more than Tony could if in this suburban white space, just to get that sidebar off. What do you think? Maybe not.
I don't know, but I think she's just as unpolished as Tony is, as we see in later seasons, just from her interactions with people outside of this world.
Gotcha.
Maybe that's my bias. Right here, I should feel like what you're saying, though. I should feel like she can fit in, but knowing what I know about the rest of the series and what we've seen, I know that she doesn't, you know? So yeah, right here, it does look like she could pull it off. Okay. She kind of sitting back, she listening, you know, she playing her position. So yeah, you're right.
Okay.
But we know that ain't she probably worse off than Tony is in that world.
Oh man,
in my opinion. We'll get to that definitely.
But back to the Hesh. A line that I didn't point out earlier on the farm is he's talking about like how he helped little black kids help get them out the hood, basically get them out the ghetto. Or something the word.
Yeah.
So you're right. I did not catch him trying to listen for samples, like listening for these things.
Yeah, he was looking for a way back in.
Man,
y'all got this on me. I'm gonna use this on y'all.
Man, do you think at all he felt any guilt?
Hell no. Hesh is a dirt ball, man.
Dang.
Hesh is a fucking slime ball. He's the only way the cockroach was able to survive all of these.
He might be the worst because he finessed the black people like
a slime ball. He don't finesse anybody,
and he sleeps with black women.
Yeah, I knew you was finesse.
Oh, you know I'm going there.
Yeah, exactly. He is a 100% culture vulture.
Yeah,
facts. All right. From there, we go to probably the best scene of the fucking episode, man.
Yes.
Next day, what's their name?
Visiting Day.
Visiting Day. Visiting Day is on take number 62. Did you peep that?
Yes, I did. That's in my notes.
Number 62
yeah.
of trying to record this song. And this is the third day that Chris has been paying for this at $300 an hour. All right. So anybody that looks at this and kind of feels sorry for what happened to what is his name? Stevie?
Let's call him Stevie.
Yeah, we'll call him Stevie for this. But he got the hits played on him. And this whole thing, how it played out with the engineer thinking it was terrible.
Yeah.
The frustration building up.
That was sign number 3 right there.
Yeah, that was sign number 3. Chris trying to give him some coke. He doesn't do drugs, which is sign number 4. How you gonna be a good musician and don't do any drugs?
Man.
And then Chris has had it. He has fucking had it.
Yeah,
the
bro.
guy.
Hold on, because you going too fast, bro. Hold on. Because it's like it's not a crazy breakdown. It's just the moments, like the engineer, like you said, the engineer's out of it. But let's just fast forward up a little bit, like you said. They come out of there. He's starting to find out like what's going on, and he's like, "Hold on, wait." enlighten me, the engineer. What do you think the problem is? Because Chris, like, this is not my space, bro. I'm a mob guy. I don't know nothing about this. The engineer tells him like they ain't got a hook and all that, but he's like, all right. He moves his woman out of the way. I've been here. I have definitely been here. Was like, all right, boo, watch out, because this you ain't getting it to where it need to go. Hey, I'm not fucking around anymore. Spike up, like, get to it, bruh. He's like, dude, I'm in rehab. Like, this nigga was not going. I'm not. So here's the math. This is just a theory.
Not even that. Wait. Just bring it to the math. Right. I'm in rehab as he slowly starts to put his jacket on and tell Chris, what's the big deal? Kinko's gave me 5 days.
Boy.
Man, I loved how they just kept building it. This is similar to the bakery scene.
Yes, I love Christopher's temper. His temper is so funny, because it's like some people it would seem like it came out of nowhere, but to me, I always see it coming with Christopher, like with his anger, and it's the funniest thing to me, bro. Like versus Tony, where Tony like he'll look for a second and jump right into it, like, what's your problem, kid? You know, he'll jump into it, but like Chris, you'll see the build up, like, so right here he pointed at her like, yo, chill out, like get back to work. Nah, it ain't over. So, dude.
Chris got big fuck around and find out energy.
Yeah. Oh.
He is the epitome of fuck around and find out.
Oh,
like you said, I love it every time that I see it build up. And not to skip Benny, but the funniest part was when he beat him with the guitar. Told him to get back to work. And he said, we'll play the songs on a fucking ukulele.
Boy, let's go. Because this is my money. I'm funding this. I'm funding this, bro.
Ooh, what was the math?
So here's the math. This is just, I just try to do something. So Adriana's upset. $300 an hour for 3 days, 62 takes. Let's say it's an 8-hour sessions. They're in here for 8 hours. So that's 20 takes a day.
Okay.
So that means he would have paid $7,200 already just for a demo. Spike up. Bro, spike up, man.
Jesus Christ. Even if it was half that, it was still $3,000.
Yeah, for some like nobodies, you know what I mean? Like these dudes are not, you don't really.
For a demo, like you said.
For a demo.
These niggas, for a nigga that live in his basement.
For a black dude who runs a rap label.
What you do for your women, man. What men do for women, man. It goes.
He said, "Get back in the booth." Like this.
Hilarious. Yeah. I loved all of that.
All of it.
Anything else you have from that?
That's it, man. I can run. I
great
can go all day with
Christopher
that.
moment.
Yes, great Christopher.
Great Christopher moment.
Top 10.
So from here we go to Carm on the phone buying stock.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing.
Okay.
You said that they were doing Carmela wrong when they were talking about her in the burger joint. But as Meadow walks in and hears her mom on the phone attempting to buy stock, she's just as dismissive and doubtful as they are.
Okay.
Adriana and Chris. So it seems as if that's the overlying thought process about Carmela throughout everybody in this world.
Which is what?
What say you?
What is
nothing but like you're a homemaker. Like, why are you trying to be in the stock market? You're not that smart. Just like you're a homemaker, make homes. Because Meadow was literally like, what are you doing? Like, you have no clue. Like, what the fuck are you got? Stop.
Okay. So it's like she's trying to put herself on a equal ground with people, but she has nothing to show for. Where
would you have gotten this information is, I think, how everybody is looking at her.
Okay.
Which is, it's a perception. Like, they don't know her life, I would say.
Yeah.
She says CNBC is a very interesting channel.
Okay.
But from Adriana's perspective, from Chris's perspective, from Meadow's perspective, all you do is spend Tony's money and go to the grocery store, go to the mall, do aerobics, come back home, cook dinner. Like, that's what you do.
Yeah.
So,
now that kind of pushes home a little bit more on Adriana trying to go so hard on
new generation, just like
the
Chris.
talent. Yeah, okay, that makes a lot of that. That's way ahead of his time too. Looking at where we are from 2023, but That is funny. Like when Meadow comes in here, like I used this before on a meme, but like it's the face that she has, bro, is hilarious. She was like, I don't know, mom. Like, I was like,
not even I don't know. Like, I know you can't. Like, it's serious doubt there. Not even just like a little bit of doubt. It's like, bitch.
Dude.
She looked at her like, bitch, get out of here.
Bro, like, but I mean, can they be mad at us? Like, bro, I'm trying to really get something established. I think that's why later on, well, we know she tries to go hard on something else, but she still don't quite. But I think set aside that her trying to establish things again, she ain't built it. The problem with Carmella is it's not so much that she's trying to, because you're gonna try and fail. That's a part of it. The problem is she's not willing to start from the ground up. That's
why people look at her that way. Absolutely.
Exactly. You want the handicap.
Because it's always like, where did it come from? Where did this come from?
I'm gonna use some of Tony's money.
You want to do spec houses? Yeah, like what happened? Like what are you talking about?
Exactly. So that's her problem, which we see her and Meadow get into that whole conversation later. But yeah, that's the big issue with her. But they go to the spa and they have a little mother-daughter thing, and I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, she was trying to play off losing that money.
Oh, we found that out right here?
No, we didn't. I was early on that. So from there, Tony goes golfing with the group of average white men. That should be a band name, Average White Men.
Average White Men, yeah.
This is where we really start to see that Tony doesn't fit in with this crowd and how uncomfortable that Tony feels about it, and how he kind of fucks with them and regains the upper hand as well.
Oh, man.
Brilliant Tony Soprano scene here.
Yes.
Finally realizing that, you know what, this shit ain't for me. Fuck them. Fuck this. I'm gonna, go ahead and do the thing. I liked it. I liked the scene. I liked how Cusamano felt like he was kind of in the middle, but then couldn't help himself because, like you said, he's so attracted to the moth, attracted to the flame. I think that this scene went really well to grand opening, grand closing with Tony trying to be an average white man.
Yes. Do you think Melfi's, her ex-husband, he's like one of these white men?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, like a Cusamano, because he is Italian.
Yeah.
100%. So he's okay. So he's that.
He's a gravy
jar Italian. Yeah, jar Italian. Yo, that's cold. Jar Italian. Y'all, come on. That's crazy. We need an equivalent for black people. Like, I mean, we say Oreos or something. But anyway, I just thought they said something about, they asked about The Godfather. They say, man, the scene, the picture of Gigante shot with the cigar in his mouth was beautiful. Like, this is beautiful real. Hit. Beautiful. He talking about hit. Like, it's like somebody talking to us about like, yeah, man, that's dope, man. That's dope. Whoa, who taught you that? Like, that I see that. Yeah. Man, come on. Like, but yeah, man, all kind of stuff. And then they asked about the John Gotti thing, bro. Oh man.
Yeah, this the last straw for Tony.
That was so great, dude. Like, this whole ice cream truck John Gotti thing. Oh man, I loved it. I loved that. Yeah, this was
great.
This is good.
Great story by Tony, 100%.
Yeah.
All righty. From there, man, Chris and A, they played a demo for Massive and then for Hesh. And then I guess he takes it other places as well.
Mm-hmm.
Had you picked up by now what Massive was trying to do? Okay. It was very obvious by this scene, right?
I mean, they gave us Chris look. The Chris look, if you didn't catch it, then by the time you see Chris's look, you should know.
Chris like, okay, this motherfucker. Yeah.
He ain't realized too, because she's a smokehouse, but she's loyal. So Massive is probably used to dealing with dudes with females where he can trump them by his money, his clout, whatnot, and he just don't realize like she's just not going, bro. Like, as much as you come in, you're trying to like play into it, fake invest just to get the draws. She ain't going, bro.
Yeah, you're not gonna get her that way.
But I did like the shirt though. The shirt was nice.
Yeah, I liked Hesh just completely. Hesh tried to be nice about it, then Chris kept pushing. He's like, man, get this shit out of my wasting my goddamn
number
time.
4.
Get the fuck out of here.
That was number 4 right there. Out of here.
Number 4, what do you mean?
The 4th sign that they're not good.
Oh yeah, they was trash. Yeah, absolutely right. Absolutely right. All right, from there, Tony and Melfi a session again. He talks about Jimmy Stash and his cleft palate and how he was the butt of the joke in the group. Tony talks about how he felt that way out playing golf with the average white men.
Oh man,
vulnerable moment for Tony.
This is heavy, bro. I'll just share it. I'll just share it here quickly. Back in the 2000s when they came out the song "Just Like Music," you remember that they had that sample. So I was trying to fit in with the popular kids, and so I kept doing. I would do that, and then they would be cracking up. So then after a while, that became my shtick. Hey, Marius, do the thing again. I did it so much I got in trouble, like just to make them laugh. It didn't give me nothing, but like, and I realized like back then it's like, bro, you're a joke. They still didn't want you eating at their lunch table. Like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I was caught up in the sauce then. So like when I seen this, it just took me way back to middle school immediately. But yeah,
I think we've all done that though. I think that's a human thing. I have one of those stories. It wasn't to fit in at all though.
Obviously.
I mean, I just didn't have
this guy. You the guy.
I just didn't have that experience. I'm sorry. But no, at football practice, I used to do this when wrestling was popular, and I got in trouble for it too. I used to do the rock thing, like with the eyebrow and man, like I would do the whole thing. Like it would piss the coaches off. Everybody would be laughing. And one day I just got in trouble for that. But I used to do that shit every day. Yeah, so yeah,
like,
but again,
loud?
like you said, everybody absolutely. I'd take my helmet off and do the whole little thing. Way back in the day when I was more outgoing, but yeah, I had the gold teeth shining and stuff. But yeah, that was. But again, like you say, you look back at it, you realize that people in some of those cases, I mean, everybody wasn't laughing with me. Some people, like you said, are laughing at you.
I was definitely laughed at.
I'm sure those coaches didn't like that.
Yeah,
it did. But yeah,
oh man.
So yeah. All right. So now Tony and Melfi, they talk about the cleft palate. They talk about Tony being used. Vulnerable moment for Tony. Good scene. Good scene.
Yeah.
Here we got Massive and Hesh trying to come to a conclusion. And this is the scene, like, I think that stood out the most to me. When they realize what they're dealing with. They realize again that what we talked about earlier, they are the guys on the bottom of the totem pole. Y'all are the guys regarded as the thugs who don't have the necessary resources to do anything about this besides violence. Usually it's the black people portrayed that way. And it's not the black people portrayed that way, which is why I like this episode. It's the Tony and them portrayed that the only recourse that you guys would have is violence. Me, I have lawyers and I pay a nice retainer.
Yeah.
So
it seemed like Tony had a little respect for him though. You know,
he wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Like I guess he's not looking like
he carries it differently from the white guys who Tony had been going back and forth with throughout the episode. I think that was a great point that you made, them showing his face, because Tony was like,
yeah,
okay, I get it. But I think that came from all of the Cusamano on the golf course and how goofy they are with it, and trying to box him out or whatnot. And this dude was like, "Nah, it's totally different side of the Richter scale." I thought.
Yeah, it is. But I still like that line, like when he kind of gives his resume real quick. He said, "I killed a man." He let it breathe like this. I don't know if that was an acting choice. We try to stay in the world of it, but just the way he let it breathe. I killed a man. Then after that, I went to got my degree in urban planning. So I feel like, again, now that you're saying it's like, okay, he is riding that wave, but I mean, nonetheless, he did body somebody. Like, you know, even though he was underage, he was in juvenile. But I really like this dude. Like and this is our profile picture on Instagram. Y'all can go follow us there. But I had to. I mean, he's the strongest black character of the whole show, hands down. There's nobody stronger. Get this much airtime. But yeah.
Wait, I missed that. You said he's the strongest black character in the whole show?
Dude, I mean, who else get this much clout?
Now, or you saying period?
I'm trying to think who else. Man, get out of here, dog. You tried it. That's crazy. That's a good one. You know what? Noah might be for a debate, but he lucky I didn't. Yeah.
Young Noah was holding it down.
He was though. He got some clock.
Yeah, he did.
But how good is Hesh really that good, or does he got guys where he found that sample because he was like, oh, why you want me to give you the 400?
Yeah, Hesh is user.
He got guys that listened and found the samples. Yeah. Okay.
I think so. I thought
he was too cheap to hire somebody.
I'm not giving him any credit. Maybe he did find it himself. You know what? I'm not calling him good for it. I call him cheap for it. I'm calling him cheap.
Definitely cheap. Yeah.
He was so cheap. He sit there for hours and listened until he found the sample. That's what happened.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah, there we go. All right. From there, man, they get to the end of that, wrapped up tight with a bow. Just a few more things for the episode that have to be addressed, and that's Chris and Adriana realizing that their little music venture is a wrap. As Adriana tries on different dresses, Chris is trying to soften the blow, tells her, look, man, your boy's some slaw. Ain't nobody fucking with him. I done took him everywhere around town. Nobody's fucking with him. And the only reason that Massive like him is because he's trying to fuck you. Delivery could have been a little better.
Okay.
I really was liberal with how I laid it, but Chris wasn't much better.
Okay.
I think one of the major parts of this is Chris just doesn't know how to talk to Adriana. He doesn't know how to lay this out to her softly. And that's where they struggle with it. What'd you get from this?
There was one thing. I'm sorry. It was one little thing. This is a kind of a good detail. Right before the end of that last scene, Paulie walks in and he says they call themselves gangsters. Like, and he
was taking off his shirt. He was ready. He had a vest and shit on.
Yeah, the vest on everything. And you know, of course, we get to it's a new fucking day. But still, at the beginning of the episode, Paulie bodied somebody. It's just another day for me, bro. You said
it's a different world for Paulie. Yeah, I'm a real deal gangster.
I'm from that. Like, even we'll get the reveal later that he was in the army. You know what I mean? At one point. So, but like, I think that's interesting because the episode starts with Paulie body. This is another day for me. You talking about you killed a man, singular. You call themselves gangster. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah. So I thought that was cool. But back to the Adriana, Chris. Look, we've been there. We all been there, y'all. It's like you hate to break this bad news to your girl. You really do. But I'm sorry. It's not working. Whatever it is that you got to break to, like, you try to really be nice, but it's like, I got it. It's not working. And she took it all the way personal. Like, oh, you're saying I'm not talented. You're saying I'm not good at your. It's like, it's your first try. It didn't work. Bless her heart. I don't know what else to like. They sucked. I see what you did, but I've already lost money. Like, he probably might have lost majority, if not all, of his cut from that racket. Honestly, because he's not really a big player right now. So his cut probably ain't as big as the rest of them when it comes to that type of finesse. So he might have used all of it on the studio, at least most of it.
Yeah, that's a fact. That is 100% a fact. So,
rough
conversation for him to have, man, because Chris was right here, and it just came off wrong. So happens a lot to him. Here is the scene we're talking about. Carmela learns that the stock did a 1-3 split, which I'm assuming was bad for her, and she loses money. And then Tony comes in. Tony comes in with the box, fills it with sand, tells Cusamano he needs him to take care of it for him, plays a little prank on him. Tony's back in his little mischievous bag that we see him in. I like the ending of giving Cusamano that and making him look like the dickhead because he's been the dickhead throughout the entire episode. So, way to put a bow on it.
Yep. I love it. Yeah, I love that. That was dope. Funny. Hold this for me. I may come back in a month or so. Good, just good play. And it's cool. It's cool that Tony ain't had to body nobody, he ain't had to hurt nobody, he ain't had to, I like this, like they did in Down Neck with the coach. Okay, we're not gonna take a violent approach. So I like that. So that was a good ending. I'm with that for sure.
Now that you say that it didn't have to do nothing violent, I think that's the reason that people probably hate this episode. It's in the mafia episode.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing mob about none of this episode. So
yeah, okay. I mean, except for the first part.
Yeah, first part probably. Right. All right, we got some awards and some stuff to do before we get out of here, Mo.
Yes, we do. As we do here, we like to first rank the episode. I got an idea of how he's gonna rank it, but let's go for it. So we got 3 ranking systems. We got Made, which is an untouchable episode. We got Good Earner, which is pretty good. And then we got Just Another Envelope, which is cool. We don't really believe there's bad Soprano episodes. I don't believe that, so I don't have it on the ranking system. But Spike, how would you rank this episode?
It's cool.
So Just Another Envelope.
Okay. It was a cool episode. What'd you have it?
I got to give it Good Earner. I have to. It ain't a Made episode. If I were to be honest, sure. It's probably Just Another Envelope as far as the everything that happened with it. But the reason I'm putting it at Good Earner is because again, to me, this is like the strongest black lead you got out of this, and I have to, for the sake of a part of the element of our show. Plus, he is our profile picture as well, and I got to give it to it. It's like he was a worthy opponent to me. You know what I mean? So that's that. Broken Balls Award. Who you think took the biggest L on this episode?
Hesh.
Really?
Yeah. Hesh had some people just out of like, because think about this, right? This shit happened 40, 50 years ago. And because I know Tony Soprano and because his nephew thinks it's cool to bring these for lack of a better word in Hesh's mind, these niggers to my house because you owed him of like, who the fuck are these people? Why are y'all even in my space and my existence? So he took the big L from even having to engage, even if he had to pay the $400K or not. Again, like Tony said, lawyer fees and now this whole thing. And it's just because Chris owed somebody a favor. Wow. Why is this nigga about me? Why do I know this dude?
Wow. He did make a comment about that earlier. Yeah. I'm gonna go. It's hard. It's like between Visiting Day Chris or Adriana. I'll probably say Chris. I'm gonna say Chris.
L?
Yeah.
Because of the money he lost.
He lost that money. Like he lost that money. So he lost the investment. His girl mad at him. I imagine, Hesh them mad at him. You know what I mean? So he didn't really gain anything from this episode. He really lost. He got that come up at the beginning and it all goes downhill from there. Adriana don't take as much of an L because it wasn't her money. It was her time. And Visiting Day, they're going to go back to being a bum band trying to make it like they were before. So I definitely will go Chris on this episode. And then lastly, you can pick one of each or one specific thing, your funniest moment, the flyest moment, and your favorite moment.
My funniest would definitely be Chris in the studio.
Yep, same.
100%. My favorite, that was the funniest, excuse me. My favorite would be them coming to the conclusion and Tony realizing that this is a different type of person that he's dealing with.
What
when
was
he
that?
was talking to Massive on the phone and you said he had this look like he was impressed. That whole conversation and when they were talking about, I guess I will let our lawyers handle it. That was that was my favorite moment. And what was the other one?
The flyers.
When Chris was sitting on the pool table with the Hilfiger jumpsuit, man, I believe I had that.
Dang,
I ain't mistaken, man. I might have had that Tommy Hilfiger shit. That was fine. I used to love Tommy Hilfiger. Yeah, that used to be my shit.
Yeah, that was the
that was definitely jumped out to me, the Hilfiger shit. What about you?
Funny, same thing. The studio scene. The flyers, gotta go Massive G. When they did that shot where he was on the phone and they did that spread of like, it could be that or that when Chris came into the mansion. One of those. Either way, it's Massive's mansion. And then my favorite moment is the conversation he had with Melfi that last time with the Jimmy with the cleft chin. It was like, dang, bro, it changed my whole outlook on different kind of white people. Like before that, I thought it was all the same. But yeah, so that is our episode. This is a hit is a hit, episode 10 of Sopranos, Good Earners. Thank y'all for coming back. If y'all want to hit us up, y'all can hit us up, goodearnerpod@gmail.com. Also, we are on Instagram, goodearnerpod_Sopranos. Y'all can DM us with questions, comments. Y'all can find us on YouTube as well. We got the visual joint. And hopefully we'll have some merch coming here real soon. But thank y'all for tuning in. And always remember, don't forget about it.